switched us over to you can watch the segments right after they air. But as far as the live streaming goes, for people who are clamoring for that, that will be once we get down into the new studios. Is anyone helping with the video department today?
Yeah, it should be up there.
I see a date, and I see... I don't see anyone helping out.
It didn't save.
Oh. Do you know who's helping today?
What was his name?
I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot. I usually try to go right to it, but I didn't see it there. Alan, on the subject of you guys talking about city water, Cleveland and New York City are on a very short list of cities in the United States where restaurants are not required to filter their water prior to cooking with it. That's how good our water treatment is.
Oh, neat.
That makes me feel good.
The problem with desalination plants is that they're both crazy expensive, and once you remove the salt from an F ton of water for people to drink, you are left with an F ton of salt. And you can't put it back in the water or let rain hit it because it'll kill the ocean by changing the salinity. Army Corps of Engineers in the 50s screwed up a big man-made lake.
Can't we use it for French fries? Isn't that the best kind of salt?
Sea salt?
Sea salt.
But only from the Himalayas.
I feel like that'd be perfect for the Midwest because then we use all that salt and put it on the roads.
There you go. Look at problem solving Cody.
I would think someone had considered that and said, well, we can't do that. I don't know. I mean, the amount of... Yeah, I don't know. What do I know?
They're just lazy.
I like how I was reading that Eric Adams, who was the newish mayor of New York, was talking about how...
that name's up there, by the way, now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That the city of New York has hit an all-time high in odor complaints. And if you've ever been to New York City, especially in the summertime, the first thing that hits you is how much New York stinks. It's like a punch in the face on a hot day when you walk out of a building. But I'm curious.
Mary's going to be there next week.
I am.
Who files odor complaints with the city of New York? Hello?
There's 9 billion people there. Why wouldn't they?
Hello? I'd like to file an odor complaint. Eric Adams says, maybe I have a New York nose. I'm not smelling the filth. He goes, what I do smell everywhere, and he's right, is pot. Yeah, everywhere you go now, it smells like pot. Here, somewhere else. I don't mind it, not complaining. But you do notice the scent of pot in the air all the time now. He says that in New York, car idling is a big issue. But odor complaints in New York City are at an all-time high. And, of course, plenty of people point out that the city has always smelled.
Yeah.
If you've ever ridden the subway.
Summer in New York is so smelly.
Yes.
Have you've been there before, Mary, but you haven't been there in...
No, I was there in July of 2019.
Okay.
So it's been almost exactly 3 years.
You know the stink.
It's going to be like mid to high 90s the entire week that I'm there. 96. And the thing that sucks more than the stink is that it's 100% humidity. It's like
and then
85%.
Yeah. Coupled with like being downwind from somebody who's just taking a dump on the curb or, so you mix that in with everything else.
Yeah, next week when I'm there, 91, 87, 87, 89. Whoa, it's going to be miserable.
Well, I guess now that you mention that, we're in Jersey the same week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you're going to be like on the water vacation. She's going to be walking
in
from all these different
Oh,
shows.
I see what you mean.
That's like, yeah.
I'm staying in Queens or Astoria.
But it's still hot as hell when you get in there because the city doesn't breathe at all.
Right.
It just stagnates. Yet for some reason, when it's winter, the wind just has no problem whipping around and making it cold as hell.
Well, because everything's whipping between the buildings and hold on. Who is helping us out today? Let me go back and find it. Oh, Dandy Bedorf. Thank you, sir or madam.
Thanks,
Dandy Bedorf. Now, Dandy Bedorf. Ted Nugent. You want to hear Ted Nugent?
I mean, sure.
Ted Nugent is selling autographs, I guess. I don't know if he's bored. I don't know if he's... and he's not autographing like he's not autographing like memorabilia. He's autographing flags, I guess.
On the assembly line every day, I also have these wonderful things. The Come and Take It flag. A battle cry, middle finger on fire, and I autograph them all. And they're all autographed. If you want an autographed Come and Take It flag or an autographed I will not comply hat, what a beautiful statement. I will not comply. I'm like Rosa Parks with a Glock.
Man, I love Ted Nugent. Come and take it. Moron lave, or whatever that is in Latin. He's got like a flag with a cannon on it. And I'm like, well, they might take that. I mean, can you have that in your backyard? I don't know if... So, Sweaty Teddy's out there selling stuff. So if you're a fan, get on his social media. He's just signing flags. And he wants you to try to come and take his cannon. Although it looks like a giant phallus on the flag, which is probably not
intentional.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have a head on it, but it's like this long cylindrical thing. It took me a second to realize it was a cannon. I'm like, oh, okay. But listen, I'm sure he's not the first person to refer to himself as Rosa Parks with a Glock. I mean, I think...
We also don't know that Rosa Parks didn't have a Glock.
Well, she got robbed years later, so...
Yeah, but like some random kids who had no clue that they were robbing Rosa Parks.
I wonder, did she say, like, hey, I'm Rosa Parks? And they're like, yeah, but bitch, we still want your stuff.
No, it's like, who? A bunch of kids come rob you in like the early aughts or whatever. You know, because she was getting evicted or something. She lived in Detroit. And this woman she had one data point in history. People love throwing Rosa Parks' name around. But I don't think people were helping her when she was going to get kicked out of her apartment because she couldn't afford the rent.
Just Little Caesar was.
What?
The owner of Little Caesar's Pizza. He paid her rent for decades.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, then why was she going to get kicked out?
Well, he heard that story and he said, oh, she's not getting kicked out. I'm going to pay for it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
The Illich family?
I think his name's Lil Caesar.
Oh, the rapper Lil, not Mike Illich, the rapper Lil Caesar.
Well, his real name's Mike Illich, but that's his dead name. He's
He
Lil Caesar.
He goes by Lil Caesar. Huh?
Rosa Parks didn't have a go-getter mindset. Why didn't she transform that into like a TED Talk or like a motivational speaking tour or something? Like, she could have profited off of that for years.
Because I don't think she was she wasn't looking to become an icon. You know, everybody
was anyways.
Yeah, but that's because everybody casts you through their own prism. Who wants that?
Who doesn't want to have the rent paid?
Well, she did get the rent paid. But what I'm saying is, like, she wasn't trying to become famous.
No, she's trying to live her life. She's trying to be a regular person that had the same rights as everybody else.
How would you feel if you just had a cubicle and then you'd be like, hey, psst, behind us?
Listen, if I was at a cubicle, I would have killed myself years ago. That's just the facts.
She died at 92. She lived a long time. But she never had kids. She was married, but she never had kids. Mm-hmm. So there's no Rosa Parks descendants. But Ted Nugent has kids. But he's still... I think history probably would have illustrated us had she been armed. Like in an alternate universe, Rosa Parks is armed on the bus. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to move. No, I'm not, because...
I'm going to need you to move.
That's right. Moron lave. But God bless Ted Nugent. Listen, he's doing his thing. He loves to throw a word salad around like nobody's business. Condoleezza Rice, of course, she loved Rosa Parks. There's two things Condi Rice loves: her Cleveland Browns and Rosa Parks.
Jack Donaghy.
Jack Donaghy from 30 Rock. So that would be weird to be someone in pop culture, something as inflammatory as civil rights or race relations, right? This isn't somebody who was like, she was the first person ever to have a public park named after her. It's not something, innocuous like that. You're like, people are using your name for whatever their purposes are. Guys like Ted Nugent wiping their ass with your name. because you're synonymous with
stand up for rights.
this angry dude's, fake. Ted Nugent's always a victim of something. Always a victim. And in his mind, he's Rosa Parks. Because that's everyone's shorthand for when they find themselves in that position. So I don't know if Rosa Parks ever charged for her autograph.
Doesn't seem like her style.
Rosa Parks. According to Poundcake, she didn't have the, quote, go-getter attitude.
Yeah, she should have done a TED Talk.
A TED Talk. Back then they were called Theodore Talks. But she absolutely should have done one.
Imagine if her signature was just sitting her ass on stuff I just sat on your
Putting
desk.
it in paint.
Or
Yeah,
something.
right.
Get a mold.
Yeah.
That's Rosa Parks' ass right there.
It's what she was best known for, I guess.
Sat her ass on that bus.
That's right.
Well, that's where Farrah Fawcett got that idea.
Uh-huh. Treat my face like a bus bench. Alan, I thought you said ogre complaints in New York City. That would have been a whole other thing. If New Yorkers en masse were filing record numbers of ogre complaints.
Get out of my swamp.
Yeah. Alan, Lakewood got electric scooters. Is that a big deal? All I see are electric scooters being tossed aside like so much urban detritus. Just electric scooters. We were in L.A. Half of the scooters are in the ocean. People just throw them there. Mm-hmm. They don't care.
People are jerks. But I like the scooters being in Lakewood. I think that'll be cool. I think that'll come in handy for me.
You gonna zip around on a scooter?
I might a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Take note, Lakewood residents. They got a hot young mayor, too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Take note, Lakewood residents. One of your fellow citizens, one Bill Squire, one Billiam Scott Squire, might be seen zipping around town on a scooter.
I've used them in Cleveland a few times.
Yeah.
They're fun.
With minimal friction?
Yeah, no problem.
They can get around okay?
The only thing that was a bummer was when I was doing coverage of the draft last year, I was also working at Hilarities that night, and I took a scooter down to First Energy Stadium, and I thought I was going to be able to take one back, but they shut them off at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so then I had to run from First Energy all the way to
Fourth
Hilarities.
Street?
Shut them
that
off.
was-
I
yeah,
love it.
That was, and go right on stage.
Sweaty,
So sweaty.
out of breath.
So sweaty.
We
so
went,
out of breath.
We went to a Browns game last year, and we had brunch and left the car in Ohio City. And so we just took an Uber down, and I was like, oh, we can just scooter back. But by the time the game was over with all the pre-gaming and everything downtown, every scooter we picked up was dead. Because, like you said, people just leave them on the street. They're not being charged or anything.
Nope.
It's like
You're
every
supposed to
single
get
one
picked
we
up by
walked up
people.
to was dead.
Yeah, but if it's super busy, like during a Browns game, there's nobody there to pick. You can't get to them.
We walked 3 miles back to the car. I know that doesn't seem like a long way, but 3 miles is not a short
Yeah,
amount.
it's like an hour-long walk.
Yeah,
Dude,
to
it
walk,
was,
it's a good walk, yeah.
It was a lot.
You get your steps in.
Like, happy birthday.
And listen,
babe.
an unintended consequence of Frank Jackson not being the mayor anymore is, when he was around, apparently street racing was legal. So you could have hopped on.
That's still out there,
You
man.
could have hitchhiked your way on somebody's motorbike.
I was on the way back from High and Dry last week, and as I'm stopped at that Abbey Avenue
Yep.
intersection over there where Tremont goes to.
Yes. By the
Ohio
underpass
City,
or whatever. Yeah.
Just a bunch of scooters and four-wheelers come zooming by, and it's just like, well, there they go.
That's a hinky intersection down there, boy, at that underpass.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff always going on down there.
Yes, yeah.
There's always people there's nights where I'm coming back from Tremont and I'll see just that whole parking lot under there just packed with people, and I don't know what they're doing.
And it's all
but
lit
they're
up.
doing
It's not like they're doing
something.
under cover of darkness.
Yeah, but they're doing something. And that night it was four-wheelers and scooters. And it was a weird mix because it was a lot. There was a few dirt bikes, a few road safe scooters, and then four-wheelers. And I was just like, have fun, guys.
It was like they had both Fast and Furious down there.
Cleveland is perceived to be the butthole of the world sometime, right?
Is there anybody notable Justin Bibb gaffes yet? The current mayor of Cleveland, Ohio?
I don't think so.
I mean, I'm not even saying that was a gaffe on Frank Jackson's part. Everybody assumed it was.
That's the best thing he's ever said.
Best thing he's ever said is Cleveland is the butthole of the world. And why not? Who better to assess the town than the guy who was in charge of it for a while?
Nice clean butthole.
That was a fun video to find. The butt waxing video.
Yeah.
Cleveland is perceived to be the butthole of the world sometime, right?
Mm-hmm. And why not? What does Poundcake want her to become Rosa Cake Farts? What? I don't think that's what he was implying.
No, I just wanted her to get some money for the contribution she made to, like, the world.
I know. If only they had NDAs in the 50s.
She could do some cameos, though.
If only she could have owned her masters.
Hi, it's Rosa.
Hi, guys. Listen, you know me. What's up, fam? You know me from not going to the back of the bus.
I was doing a cameo this morning for someone's birthday, and they wanted a Get Down cameo. And as I was doing the Get Down, I close my eyes when I'm doing it, when I'm screaming. My dog just puts her nose in my mouth.
Cute.
And I kept it in there because it was hilarious.
I had a cat make a cameo in my cameo last week, too. And one of the notes was about how the girl I was sending it to had rescue cats. So I left it in there. I was like, well, Dutch says happy birthday, too. So there you go. I think Cody calls it raw-authenticality, right?
Raw-authenticality.
Raw-authenticality.
Yep.
But yeah, that was a...
Is that what he calls it?
He's not there.
I said authenticality.
I told you what I said.
Go get your COVID test.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm going right after the show.
Man, if you're still positive... have a meltdown tomorrow.
There's nothing I can do about it. Y'all wanted me to go.
Yes, we did. That's right, we did.
Mom, nobody wants to see that cop. We'll get the stickers.
And believe it or not, my mom is negative.
I believe it.
It's just me.
I think you were doing some hinky stuff out there.
I was living my life.
I think you did have some alone time, and you're not telling us. I think you let somebody spit in your mouth, and this is what happened.
Some homeless man.
Mom.
Her impression of him is so
good.
good.
Circle and he spit in my mouth.
Mom, nobody wants to see that cop. We'll get the stickers.
Alan Rosa Parks should have sold foot pictures like Mary.
Oh, yeah.
If only the social and digital infrastructure had existed in Rosa Parks' time.
Toza Parks.
Yup. There it is. Okay, listen. Let me take a break. If you want to get the last word in, some good, 35192 to shoot me a text there. And the Corey Roddick Experience on the way after 6:30. You're in luck. We'll be back after these.
It's the Alan Cox Show. Everywhere on